the only one out of everybody here that noticed that.
Perhaps if the error had been in Reading's favor,
he wouldn't have been so quick to notice.
That's right.
And the punt gets a Reading bounce, and it is downed at the Rocket 30-yard line. And that's where the Rockets will start things off here in the opening moments of the fourth quarter. Reading with a 13-6 lead.
The defensive unit, the players that don't go the offensive are being congratulated by the coaching staff for a fine effort out there. They were able to control Gloucester and eventually get the ball back. So see what Reading can do here in the fourth quarter. As you remember, they're up by a touchdown. It's 13-6. We're just starting the fourth quarter, so there's still plenty of time left.
They shifted into the wishbone. The give is to Macaluso off the left side, and John drives it forward. Gains about 4 yards on the carry, and it will be second down and 6 yards to go.
Stopped after a gain of about 3 yards. It'll be second down and 7 yards to go for first down.
Second down and call it 7. 8.5 minutes left to go in the game. Split backfield now for the Rockets. Johnson looking on the left side, going long, has Macaluso, and he overthrows him. And Kyle McFadden, number 84, is back into the game. Kind of a surprise. We saw him leave the field at the end of the first half. He had his arm in a sling. And I didn't expect to see him again here today.
That is a pleasant surprise, and I think most everybody in Reading would agree with this. He is a welcome addition to that receiving core for the Reading Rockets. But when he went off the field, he did look like he was in quite an amount of pain, so he must have shaken it off in the locker room.
Reading breaks the huddle. It's third down and 7 for the Rockets. They shift into the wishbone. Gilligan lines up tight. They give to Macaluso around the left side. Had some room, cutting back, and he has the Rocket first down. Some nice moves there by John Macaluso. Good individual effort.
Well, that play took a little while to develop, too. It was an outside handoff. He came around to the outside of the quarterback to take that ball, so he was quite a ways back into his own backfield by the time John had the ball. He was able to turn the corner and pick up the first down. See number 45 for Gloucester is sitting down on the field. May have been shaken up on the play.
Another injury. And these have not been just the get up and shake them off type injuries, no. It looks like. A lot of them, they are going down and they're staying down for several minutes, a lot of these players. It's been a hard-hitting game, and it's been a tough football game, grinded out football for the most part. Reading got the passing game going in the second quarter and a bit in the third too, but for the most part, both teams trying to do it on the ground, especially Gloucester. And when that happens, you're going to see a lot of hard hitting out there.
Yeah, both teams have taken their lumps, but we pointed it out earlier that Carl McFadden is back in. He seems to have shaken it off. Big injury, I seem to think, would be Derek Sanford. He talked about the fact that he hurt his eye, missed the whole season due to that, and then an ankle injury, although, it may just be a sprain, could even be a break, but that would have to come at the result of an x-ray. Even a sprain is hard to come off. It's a hard injury to rehabilitate.
Joe Gilligan last year sprained his ankle and he missed 4 games, and he's having some problems in preseason this year with the other ankle, but he's out there today, and he's showing no ill effects of his injury. The Rockets out of the wishbone, give to nobody. Johnson going back under some pressure, and he dumps it off, and he tried to hit. It was in the general vicinity of John Macaluso.
Right. Johnson did well that time to get rid of the ball. He was under hot pursuit that time by 3 defenders. And fortunately enough, there was some Reading players in the general area. He could have been called for an intentional grounding.
can't blame Dave Johnson for just getting rid of that ball with 600 pounds chasing him.
Now that would tend to put a different perspective on the word courage, I think.
Reading breaks the huddle. Second down, 10 yards to go. Now out of the eye, Macaluso on the left. Give his to Backus. High stepping his way through, still on the move. He's on the way. Terrence Backus will go in for the Reading touchdown. Terrence Backus in replacing Derek Sanford goes 55 yards for the Reading Rockets, and he did a lot of that on his own. He broke through the line of scrimmage, broke through a tackle about 10 yards down, and then the one player had him around the ankle, squirted free of that guy, and was on his way.
He broke loose to several tackles. I would say at least 3. Was able to squirt his way through, and that was a big gain, a 55-yard gain. Put Reading out in front 19-6. Great move that time by Backus. Good ball player.
And for the 2-point conversion now. The Rockets lead 19-6, and they will go for 2. Out of the eye. Johnson looking over the middle. He's got his man. Touchdown. Carl McFadden, who has just come back into the game.
Big number 84, come right back off that injury. Cut across the middle. He lined up as a tight end that time. Comes out and just does a little, cuts right across the back of the defensive line, and that is just enough to open him up, and they were able to hit him coming across.
Reading with a 21-6 lead. A 55-yard touchdown run by Terrence Backus, and the 2-point conversion pass from Dave Johnson to Carl McFadden. And Reading has tacked onto their lead here. 7 minutes and 45 seconds left to go in the fourth quarter. And Reading up by 15 points. And that was an important 2-point conversion, because now Gloucester cannot, they have to go for the 2 points themselves when they come down, if they do come back and score.
That's right. Gloucester needs to make up a lot of points. Like you said, they're 15 in the hole. So 2 points conversions, kind of a foregone conclusion for them. They need to make up some time or make up some ground, and they don't have a lot of time to do it.
67, Jerry Tatora. Back deep to receive for
Tatora will kick off for Reading.
number 32,
Joe Biondo, who was knocked out of the game the last offensive series for Gloucester, is back to receive the kick for the Fishermen, along with number 10, John Avila. The Rockets talking things over at their own 40. Tatora is adjusting the ball to his liking, and he will be doing the kicking for Reading.
You know, we've only had a chance to see 1 point after touchdown to kick, and Tortori did a good job that time.
One of the upbacks, Bob Kleiss, takes it, trying to get around the right side, and he is tripped up by number 23, Paul Crispo.
Reading kick was on 38-yard line, tripped up by number 23, Paul Crispo. It'll be first.
If you had a chance to see that time, it was kind of a funny thing away from the ball. Number 72, I can't find a name for that for him for Gloucester, but he came down and just leveled Terrence Backus on that kickoff. Backus was down to cover the field, and 72 rolled over him like a steamroller just to try to let him know that
they didn't take too kindly.
That's right. You break those 55-yarders like that, you're gonna get a bruise, I think.
It's after the fact, though. It still
right.
counts, the 6 points for the Rockets.
I think the ultimate insult in that play was the fact that Backus just got right up. It didn't even affect him, so.
Now Gloucester tries to go off the left side. Joe Biondo gained about maybe 2 yards on that carry. I think Gloucester is going to have to,
A gain of about 1
the
yard.
penalty marker is down. I think Gloucester's going to have to start airing it out a little bit here. They're down by 15 points. They need 2 touchdowns
Play.
along with the 2-point conversions if they want to win this football game. And with 7.5 minutes left to go, time is running out.
And you'll see this penalty right here. Legal procedure against Gloucester, so that doesn't help out. But I think you're right, John. I think Gloucester is going to have to go to the air a little bit.
34-yard line.
It will be first down and 15 yards to go for Gloucester. They break the huddle.
And here we go, back to the pass. They're listening to us, obviously. Ooh.
And just falls incomplete. Eric Sweet went around his right side, looked down the right sideline for Tim Oakes, and it was a little bit low. Oakes was there, had some daylight, but the pass was just a bit too low, not able to pull it off the ground. Second down and 15 yards to go. Gloucester at their own 34-yard line. Reading leads here 21-6 with 7 minutes left to go in this game. Opening game for both teams. This is a non-league game. Reading looking for some revenge. Now Sweet around the right side. Pitches off to Biondo, and he is dragged out of bounds after about a 7-yard gain. Sweet did a nice job then, held on to it till the very last possible moment, and then pitched it off to Biondo. And Joe gained about 7, and it will be third down and 6 yards to go.
They have about 134 yards for Joe Biondo today. Now I know, those aren't as accurate as they.
Very unofficial statistics.
Very unofficial. Well, that's what we'll call them, the very unofficial statistics. But he is having quite a good afternoon, and he's coming off of that injury. I think a lot of times with these hard hitting like this, you'll ring your bell and you just have to go out and take a rest.
And Avila is pulled down. Good defensive play made by Joe Gilligan, one of the Rocket safeties. Came up from his secondary position and pulled Avila down. That's that quick pass. The wide out pass to the receiver, split out wide. The quick one. And Avila had some daylight when he caught the ball, but Gilligan closed it off quickly.
Well, we've seen that play several times this afternoon. Gloucester likes to run now when they need a few yards. They throw their man out wide, and it's just a quick drop back, and they can nail it out to him. The first time it did go for a few yards, but other than that, Reading's been able to compensate on that and close that play down.
Fourth down, the pitch back to Biondo, and he is bottled up and dragged down in the backfield. Kyle McFadden made the initial hit for the Rockets. Kyle McFadden came up from his secondary spot and dropped Biondo well behind the line of scrimmage. So the Rockets hold. I don't know if Gloucester just doesn't have the confidence in their passing game or what here, Drew, but they haven't really opened up the offense yet. And as we mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, I mean, we only have 5.5 minutes left in the game. Fourth down, and they're trying a sweep around the right side.
Yep.
Trying to catch the Rockets off guard, I take it, but still, I mean, there isn't that much time left to be running wide.
That's right.
When there's fourth down and 4 yards to go.
There's only so much you can do when you keep it on the ground, and to make up as much ground as they need, they had to put it in the air. We see a timeout this time. Dave Johnson evidently didn't like the setup.
Johnson looking things over and saw something he didn't like and called timeout. And it's a smart move, really, by Johnson. They can afford to use a timeout here. They have the lead. The clock isn't running. And if you see something you don't really think you are set to handle, then use one of your timeouts and don't make a mistake. Don't be afraid to use the timeout and then have it come back to haunt you, throw an interception, or have somebody not be where they're supposed to be.
That's right. It's 21-6. It's a 15-point lead, but one touchdown, one stupid mistake like that could put a team like Gloucester right back into the race. So it is a smart idea. But then again, you have to think about the fact that Reading might want to get that clock run down, so maybe looking for some more passes. Make sure that clock keeps running.
Reading, 1st and 10 from the Gloucester 43-yard line. They give to the first man through. That's Terrence Bacchus on the move, and he squirms forward, and he has a Reading first down. Terrence Bacchus here in the 4th quarter. The last 2 times he's touched the ball, a 55-yard run, and on that carry he gained 13. Almost 70 yards and 2 carries for Terrence Bacchus just here in the 4th quarter alone.
Well, that's what I have him down for. He's roughly up to around 77 yards, and he's carried the ball just about 4 times.
That's a pretty good yards per
put him
carry
right up
average.
in the,
That's the Rockets' second string
that's right.
tailback.
I think if that ankle injury doesn't get better on Sanford, I think Bacchus may have found himself a starting role.
Johnson hits his man. That's Nando Zucchi.
Johnson's pass is complete to number 32, Nando Zucchi. Gain of about 8 yards.
Zucchi in replacing Mark Salvatelli. The Rockets' starting backfield today was John Macaluso, Mark Salvatelli, and Derek Sanford. Sanford went down very early in the contest with an ankle injury. And here in the second half, Mark Salvatelli hurt his knee, and we have not seen him back in there since. We see him on the sidelines, and he looks okay, not being attended to. And they may just be keeping him out with a 15-point lead, or maybe a precautionary move with 4 minutes left to go in the game.
I think that's probably a smart thing to do. This is the first game of the season.
And straight up the middle, Zucchi.
Beautiful.
For the touchdown.
Nando Zucchi, a 30-yard.
Nando Zucchi went straight up the middle there and absolutely untouched.
For the touchdown.
I think you or I could have run up that hole. Huge opening there for Nando Zucchi.
Absolutely. But we do have a flag down on the play. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
The flag is down in the end zone. So I'm going to assume it is against Gloucester.
Points are already up on the scoreboard, if that's any kind of sign.
I'm not sure what the call is from our vantage point here. We cannot see what the referee is signaling.
Looks like they're counting the players. It could be that they may have had too many players on the field, or just have to wait and see.
Whatever the call is, the touchdown stands.
That's right.
(27-6). Reading has blown this one open here in the second half. Actually, in the 4th quarter, this was a 13-6 game. And now movement along the line. And it's going to be against the Rockets, I do believe. It is illegal procedure.
Legal procedure against Reading.
Yep, I think they called it on the left guard. And that is Zucchi. They kind of line up a little bit different on point after touchdowns. They have him in as a guard in that formation. So they'll tack on 5. I think you may see a 2-point conversion now. A little bit out of his range.
No, they're going to try the kick. This is a good chance to see if Tatora can handle a little bit longer kick under game conditions. And it's up.
25-yard, it's good.
And he drills that one through. Jerry Tatora.
That was a 25-yard goal, a 25-yard point after touchdown. Like you said, John, that was really a good opportunity and a good example of Tatori's leg. He really can put his leg under there, and he's kind of got a unique style. You don't see it much anymore with all the soccer kickers being prevalent. He just hits that ball straight on.
And he had a good 10 yards to spare on that, too.
Yeah.
So Reading, after the point after touchdown by Jerry Tatora, has broken this one open. They lead 28-6. There are 3 minutes and 56 seconds left to go in the game. And what was a close game here in the opening few minutes of the fourth quarter after the 55-yard run by Terrence Bacchus. The Rockets have taken control.
Well, Bacchus played a part in that that scoring drive as well. He had a run of 13 yards, approximately 13 yards, so that helped the cause. But that whole Suzuki, I think, like you said, I could have run through that.
The game penalty called on Reading. Penalty is assessed on the kickoff. 5-yard penalty. So Reading will kick off from its own 35-yard line. Set to kick off for Reading is number 67, Jerry Sakura.
Now here's the explanation for that penalty that we were confused about. They said it was a delay of game, so that's why the ball is being kicked off from the 35-yard line as opposed to the 40-yard line. They just tacked on the 5 yards to the kickoff. Knew there had to be some kind of an explanation for that.
Satora. The kick goes to Avila. Trying to go around the right side. And he is pulled down at his own 41-yard line, it looks like. John Avila. With about a 20-yard return. First and 10 for the Gloucester Fishermen at their own 41-yard line.
It'll be first and 10, Gloucester.
Gloucester breaks the huddle. Eric Sweet. Oakes splits out wide to the left. Biondo in the left slot. The give is to Biondo coming back to the right. Breaks it straight up the middle. Joe Biondo with a nice move, still on his feet. And he is dragged down at the Reading 40-yard line. Biondo tacks another 20 yards onto his total. He must be over that 150-yard mark by now.
Biondo's been putting a lot of mileage on his shoes today. He's had quite an afternoon. They've gone to him several times.
It's been Biondo left, right, and up the middle here today. He's been basically the whole Gloucester offense. Lucido had a couple of good runs in the first half. But other than Joe Biondo, Gloucester offense has been pretty silent here this afternoon. Sweet in trouble in the backfield. He gets it away, and it is almost
defense.
intercepted. John Paglia, number 41, knocked it away.
Good defense. Paglia was able to come up just at the last second and tap that one away. Although Sweet was forced out of the pocket, it was a nice pass.
3 minutes and 9 seconds left to go in this one. And Reading with a very comfortable 28-6 lead. Gloucester with the ball at the Rocket 40-yard line. Second down, 10 yards to go. Sweet on the option play, gets it off to Biondo. He cuts it back, still on his feet, and he is pulled down at the Reading 23-yard line. Another 17 yards for Joe Biondo. And Sweet just got that one away. He was surrounded, and he just able to work his arm free, and the ball squirted out, and Biondo there took the pitch and went for 17.
I think when you look in the paper tomorrow, you would see Biondo may evidently be the star of the game. He has probably well over 150 yards. I'll try to add it up for you and give it to you later on, the count that I have. But he has, like you've said, he's carried the Gloucester effort all afternoon.
And the gives off the right side, number 48, that's Tony Lucido. Gains about 5 yards. It will be second down and 5 yards to go for the Fishermen.
Second down and 5.
The clock is running. A little bit over 2 minutes left to go in the game.
Just as a point of record, I have Biondo down as for 152 yards, so he's on the downside of his second 100 yards of the afternoon. So see a timeout on the Gloucester side of the field. Oh no, I think That would be your 2-minute warning. That's right. There's a minute 59 left in the game. 28-6, Reading on top.
Gloucester is a Division II school, Reading Division I, but they're really, Gloucester is a Division II school with a Division I enrollment.
Yeah.
And they really are a very strong football team. As we mentioned, a lot of last year's players on both teams graduated. As Sweet rolls out to the right, looking, and the pass is incomplete.
Green pass intended for
Looking for Anthony Parisi.
38. Anthony Parisi is incomplete.
But Gloucester is a good, tough football team, and Reading has done a real fine job here. I think they kind of wore them down
Out, Gloucester.
here in the second half. And the sign of a good football team is if it's a close game going into the last quarter, they have really dominated this fourth quarter.
That's right. I think that'll be kind of an indicator, and hopefully that's a sign of things to come for the Reading football program, that this season could be as successful, if not more so, than last year. They have dominated in the second half, and in particular in the fourth quarter. We've seen a lot of big plays open up in the fourth quarter, and we've seen at least 2 touchdowns. So they have dominated the second half of play.
A minute and 43 seconds left to go in the game. Reading was an opening game win here. Non-league contest. Next week they travel to Melrose, I believe, for a Friday night game. Melrose is picked to be up around the top of the league. They always have a strong football program over there, and I'm sure that will be a good game. And the give is to Biondo up the middle on his feet. And he is taken down at the Reading 7-yard line.
To pick up about 13 yards.
Carries the ball down to the
Another big run for him.
8-yard line.
We're seeing a really great performance here this afternoon by Joe Biondo. If Gloucester has 200 yards total offense, then Joe Biondo probably has about 175 yards of that.
That's right. It has to be one of the high points. You know, we talked about some of the problems that Gloucester may have and some of the things they need to work on. There's definitely one thing they don't need to work on, and that's their fullback. And there he goes again.
Around the left side, showing good speed,
Touchdown.
and he is in. Joe Biondo.
Joe Biondo on an 8-yard run.
Biondo around to the left side for 8 yards. That is his second touchdown of the afternoon and Gloucester's second touchdown of the afternoon.
Score Reading 28, Gloucester 12.
And Reading leads 28-12 now. That touchdown coming with a minute and 5 seconds left to go in the game. And Gloucester will probably go for the 2 points. It's all academic right now, though. And they will. Sweet, rolling out to the right, looking, and it is incomplete.
Sweet pass, ball's incomplete.
He was looking for
No good. The score remains Reading 28.
Tim Oakes, I
Gloucester
believe.
12.
No, that was number 81, Dan King. The pass was just a bit too low. King not able to hang on to it. So, the touchdown by Biondo, an 8-yard run around his own left end. The 2-point conversion is unsuccessful, and Reading leads here 28-12.
Looking at the information that was written down prior to the game, Biondo had 6 touchdowns last year, and he's got 2 this year, so he is off to a super start for his 1985-86 football year.
A minute and 5 seconds left to go in this one. Gloucester will be kicking off. I'm sure they'll try an onside kick here. But I think it's safe to say that Reading has this one in control. And a good opening game win for the Rockets. A little vindication from last year. Some of the kids that were on the team last year's underclassmen, this year's seniors, and any juniors that were on the squad last year, I think they remember what Gloucester did to them last year. Reading was a little bit of a favorite heading into the contest last year, I think. And Gloucester, it might have been a little bit of a surprise.
If we do see an onside, sorry, but if we do see an onside kick, I don't know. Well, you see the whole line shifting there.
They're well stocked on that side, and it is grabbed by the Rockets.
The ball has to go 10 yards. It did go the 10 yards, but Reading was able to cover that kick. A little over a minute left.
You might as well stack the side you're going to try the onside kick on. You got 11 guys running towards the ball. Kind of intimidating for whoever it is that the ball is going to. See a couple of tons heading your way.
Oftentimes, too, the special teams like this in a high school program are the less experienced ball players. Sometimes your underclassmen are out there in the special teams, and like you said, to see 11 guys thundering down on you could be a little bit intimidating. Maybe lose your confidence a tad.
Rockets ball. They're at their own 45-yard line. And to give off the left side, not sure who has it. I think it's John Macaluso.
Yeah.
It is.
Macaluso, the ball carrier.
And he gained about 3 yards. It will be 2nd and 7 for the Rockets. 40 seconds left to go in the game. The clock is moving.
Reading's had quite a balanced attack this afternoon. I think a lot of that would account for Mark Salvatelli being out. Before he went out of the game, he was definitely the leading ground gator for the Reading Rockets, but since he has gone out, it has been quite balanced.
Nando Zucci, the ball carrier.
Nando Zucci.
2 yards. It'll be
And Gloucester calls timeout with 12 seconds left to go in the game. I don't know, Drew. With 12 seconds left, you're down 28-12. All this means is there's one more chance to get somebody hurt out there as far as I'm concerned. You're certainly not going to win the football game at this point. Reading has the ball. I'm not a football coach, but I think I just let it ride and say we lost this one. Let's go get them next week, and let's hope nobody gets hurt in these last 12 seconds. I'm sure Reading just would have let the clock run and not run another play, but now they're forced to run another play as Gloucester calls time.
I'm sure that's the thought that goes through probably most of the coaches and definitely all of the parents. They definitely don't want to see their boys hurt out there.
This will be the last play of the game.
And there'll be no need to run a play after this one. The clock could run out. Plenty of time. They are going to go for it, though.
The give is to Bacchus, and the ball squirts free, but the clock, the whistle had blown, and the clock is stopped at 3 seconds. I didn't see the official motion. Did the Gloucester call time? Yes, they did. Yep. Another chance to run another play. 3 seconds left to go in the game. Gloucester refuses to die here.
Well, that's a sign of a good football player, I guess, is that it's not over till it's over, like they say.
This one officially may not be over, but realistically, this one was over as soon as the Rockets scored their 4th touchdown of the afternoon. When Nando Zucci went up the middle through a gaping hole and gave the Rockets a 26-6 lead. The 2-point conversion attempt to Carl McFadden made the score 28-6. Biondo has scored in the last minute of play with 1:05 left. Joe Biondo scored the second Gloucester touchdown, too little, too late. The Rockets lineup, this will be the final play of the game. The give is to Bacchus off the right side, and he is dropped at the Gloucester 45-yard line, and that is the end of this game. The Reading Rockets with a very fine two-way performance, both offensively and defensively. The Reading Rockets, after falling behind on a 39-yard run by Joe Biondo, the first play of the second quarter, 8 seconds into the second quarter, Biondo with a 39-yard run gave Gloucester a 6-0 lead. But from that point on, it was basically all Reading Rockets, Drew.
Yeah, the offensive unit for Reading was quite consistent this afternoon. Once Dave Johnson completed his first pass, he felt real confident to go in the air, threw at least one touchdown pass, and then like we saw earlier, we saw some good running by the second string halfbacks, Bacchus and Zucchi. They were both not starters. Neither one of them started the game, but both of them had big runs right up the middle for touchdowns. So it definitely was Reading's ball game most of the afternoon today.
And I think a very important factor is that they did get the second string as they were forced to put in. Salvatelli went down with an injury. Sanford went down very early with an injury. Kyle McFadden in the first half went down, came back in the fourth quarter, kind of a surprise to us, came in and caught a two-point conversion. But a lot of question marks as far as their depth. I think they may have been answered here today.
Well, I think it's important, too, the fact that this was a non-conference game. Maybe, you know, if this had been a conference game and league standings and all that rode on it, it may have not seen so many underclassmen out there. But you know, you're absolutely right. It did help their depth charts. I'm sure both coaching staffs got a chance to see exactly what each ball player can do. So they both shaped up good for the remainder of the season.
I think we talked about it earlier. If I had to pick the biggest play of this game, 3rd down and 10 for the Rockets at their own 9-yard line. Johnson had yet to complete a pass.
That's right.
Really had not completed a varsity pass. He didn't play last year, his first varsity game. And he, 3rd and 10, found Joe Gilligan along the right sideline, got him out a little bit away from their end zone. And from that point on, Johnson, I really think he took control, showed some good leadership out there. The Rockets started to mix up their play when they got the room in their own end. And from that point on, the Rockets really just dominated the play, I thought.
That's right. You know, in my mind, Dave Johnson is pretty much short of his starting position. That was a good performance today. And like you said, John, once he got on track, once he made that first completion, and as far as I know, that was his first attempt, too. So that really helped him get his confidence up. And since then, he showed great leadership and keeping the team under control, moving them down the field quite well. So